Actually, one of the times you're right. I am on a secret mission. Which I can tell you about. I'm going to Washington, D.C. right now, driving down through the snowscape of the Northeast United States to do a virtual town hall for Congresswoman Barbara Lee.
Oh, fantastic.
Cool.
The subject of which will be?
Oh, nothing special. Well, of course, the security of the United States.
Okay, just the security of the United States. Okay. Malcolm, did you happen to watch any of that extraordinary ceremony last night for Officer Sicknick?
I did, and as a matter of fact, if I'm lucky, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., I will go pay my respects as I'm filming in the Capitol itself. So, yes, it was wonderful, and it was great to see a president of the United States who truly respects the sacrifice of this man.
Yeah.
Donald Trump has expressed virtually nothing that wasn't written by his staff. And, forget about him. Let's talk about how nice it is to have a president of the United States who really shows respect, and a first lady who feels the empathy towards those families.
Yeah. But, I thought of you, Malcolm, as someone who's obviously served his country, but as a terrorism expert, just the parallels, since I was in New York for 9/11. And I was saying about, the brave Americans that stopped a plane from hitting the Capitol on 9/11 from international terrorists. And, here, January 6th, we have these domestic terrorists that if it weren't for the bravery of patriots like Officer Sicknick and, the other officer, oh God, I'm blanking again on his name, Goodman. Officer Goodman, also we would have had Congress people and senators slaughtered at the Capitol, right? I mean, and this was an act of domestic terrorism, and we still, we still don't even know who set those bombs, right? We still don't know exactly how Officer Sicknick died. We still don't know who took the panic buttons out of some people's offices. I mean, there is a lot that still is to come out, isn't there, about January 6th?
There's an enormous amount due to come out, and Nancy Pelosi yesterday endorsed a national commission on January 6th for the January 6th attack, and that will be a top-to-bottom, all-of-government review of how this was allowed to happen. And I'm sorry to say, it was allowed to happen. The entire national security apparatus of the previous administration did nothing. They literally took, we have the memo now from the acting Secretary of Defense for the D.C. National Guard not to have access to body armor, equipment, or riot gear for that specific event. So this all needs to come out. And to be honest, people do need to go to jail for this.
They do. I mean, that's what we were just quoting someone, a legal expert, Malcolm, is saying, yes, you have to have the 9/11 style commission. Yes, you have to have impeachment. But a lot of this is going to end up is criminally prosecuted. You're absolutely right. I mean, this is seditious conspiracy against the United States, isn't it?
Well, the hole in the story that I'm really, really fascinated with, and, God forbid anyone bring me onto a commission to study it, because I'll put all resources at it, is were there co-conspirators inside? Maybe, people are focused on individual congresspersons. They may not be the people. You never focus on a principal. They're staffers who are ideologically as rabid as they are. I mean, who must believe what they believe. They could have been doing it. We already have one report of a staffer who was on top of the Capitol cheering on the attack.
Oh, Matt Gates's staffer was filming it and cheering on. Right, Matt Gates.
How many others were up there? How many Republican staffers were actually communicating with them? Look, the FBI has already put in a Wi-Fi gate around that building. That means that they already know every cell signal that was pinging inside that building. And what we need to do is, as part of this commission, people need to be questioned as a part of a criminal investigation with.
Yeah. Malcolm, what do you make of Lindsey Graham threatening, oh, if you call witnesses, we'll call in the FBI? To which I would say, good, yes, let's do that.
Bring it right now. Let's call witnesses, because I would like to ask Lauren, Lauren Boebert, what she was doing and why she was tweeting the tweets that she had. I would like the law enforcement officers, I would like the police, the Capitol Hill policemen, to tell about the strife of trying to hold back tens of thousands of people who were all shouting, Trump sent me here, Trump invited us. How they fear for their lives. This is important to know. So let's go ahead, Lindsey Graham. Let's bring it in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're obviously frantic not to have to see this video again, not to have to hear witnesses. I mean, it's even just last night really sort of brought it home, didn't it? The solemnity of what happened.
Another thing about what Lindsey said was, he said, if we do this, we'll drag it out for months. Do you really think they think liberals are suckers? Right. They thought that after Barack Obama wanted to do the Kumbaya thing in 2008, that Democrats want their agenda pushed forward and will never do anything else other than.
He's going through a bad cell.
Not a terrorist cell. We should just point out, because we are talking to terrorism experts.
A cellular phone cell.
Yes, a cellular phone cell. Hello, Malcolm. Hello. Oh dear. Oh dear. His secret mission.
There he is.
Oh, there he's back. He's back from his secret mission. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I went into a blank spot that I knew about too.
Yes.
I just said that I have no problem listening to testimony for several months. Yeah. This is going to hurt the Republicans when we finally show the American people just how rabid they are and how deranged the ideology of the Republican Party has become now that they have adopted QAnon as their operating principle.
Yeah. And I love the Trump's impeachment lawyers. Did you see their little 14-page thing? And it was actually, there was a typo in their first sentence. They spelled they didn't spell United States correctly, which is, I guess, is apropos. They spelled it United States. Yeah. United States Senate. Okay. I mean, honestly, what is his defense? I mean, and I hope the media covers this with the gravity it deserves. Don't you, Malcolm? This is armed seditious conspiracy, armed insurrection against the United States of America, incited by a sitting president. I mean, it doesn't get more momentous than that, does it?
Absolutely not. This is the single most serious charge levied against anyone in any president in American history. This is a president who essentially, carried out an armed insurrection against the people of the United States in his name, specifically and literally in his name, to overthrow an election, to overthrow a presidential election that he lost. So as a president that was calling on insurrection to create the conditions for a dictatorship. Yeah. Look, the more this gets brought out in the news, the more that this gets shown in the trial and these phrases become clear, and the virulence of the people fighting for Trump, tearing down the American flag, the American public is going to be completely put off from this. And the Republicans might have to actually convict him. But you know what?
Yeah,
as long as there are crazy bases around, they're not going to do it.
Yeah. You know what last night drove home? It's if you vote against it, you're pro-cop killer. That's what you are.
Yeah, you're a cop killer. You support cop killers.
Yeah.
Blue lives don't matter to you.
Right. Yeah. Period. Yeah. So, by the way, did you see my interview with Nadia from Pussy Riot?
I did. Awesome sauce.
Yeah. Awesome sauce.
God. Now you are an international geopolitical player.
Yeah, you helped set that up. I'm not sure why, because Janet Sheen texts me nearly every day some funny new meme, and somehow she went through you to see if Nadia could be on. I'm like, yes. What? Okay, just call me. Anyway.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I go, you got her number. Call her.
Janet wants to have Martin Sheen and you and me and Nadia at the same time, so we can really scare Putin. So
Oh my God, that would be awesome.
But Malcolm, what I was saying to her is, it really is extraordinary, isn't it, that they are rioting in Russia to get rid of a dictator, and these rioters are to install a dictator against the will of the people. I mean, it's quite extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's Putin's puppet.
Yeah.
And Putin was trying to execute policy. Let me tell you, they know the psychology of Donald Trump. They had this man pegged decades ago when he was under surveillance by the KGB. The former Soviets and the current Russians, they all use psychology. They see how people behave and how they operate, and so they understand what makes them tick. And they knew that he was the perfect Putin clone, that he was a perfect person to put in the United States to destroy it. I am thoroughly convinced down to the bottom, to my bones, that this is part of their operating strategy, and that democracy came up and rejected him. They don't quite understand that part.
Yeah. Well, this is why I saved this story for you, just because I love making your head explode.
Right.
A former spy for the KGB is making explosive claims about Russia's efforts to cultivate Donald Trump as an asset. A former KGB official says the government began starting in the 80s to see Trump as a potential instrument for spreading anti-NATO propaganda. And I'm like, I know. I've read all Malcolm Nance's books. Yeah. I'm like, this is not an explosive claim, but okay.